Alright there guys, and welcome back to my review of Dragon Ball Super. If you don't know what this is, well, this time last week, Sunday the 5th of July, was the 5-year anniversary of the beginning of Dragon Ball Super. So in honour of its 5-year anniversary, I've decided to make a review series similar to the one I made on Attack on Titan earlier this year. So last week I covered the Battle of Gods arc, and what I do in this series is I explain what happens in the arc by arc, week by week. I explain what happens in the arc, I say what I think's good and what I think's bad about it, and then at the end I give it a rating out of 10. So, last week I covered the Battle of Gods arc, and I gave it a 4.5 out of 10. This week I will be covering the Resurrection F arc, the second arc to be a retelling of a movie. Which, if you didn't know, it's quite funny how the original Dragon Ball series had 3 movies, and in those 3 movies, they were retellings of arcs in a movie form. Whereas the 2 first arcs of Super are the complete opposite. They're arc retellings of movies. But just before we get into that, it is so refreshing to finally be recording in this room again. I haven't been able to record in this room for ages. Possibly over 3 months, really. I haven't been able to record in this room. And that's simply because I haven't had the house to myself for the past 3.5 months. So I haven't been able to record videos in this room. And to think I've only recorded 2 videos in this room this year. The first one being my video that essentially cancelled David, where I exposed him one last time for everything that I was aware of that he did in 2019. And then the second video I recorded in this room this year was the third part of my top 25 favourite video games of all time list, where I covered games 15 to 11. Right, enough about that. Let's get into Dragon Ball Super Resurrection F arc. The arc starts out with Vegeta not on Earth. Instead, Vegeta has gone off to train with Whis, and has done for the past 6 months. Goku was not aware of this, and the only reason he does find out is because while Bulma is talking to Chi-Chi and Videl, since Pan has just been born, she accidentally spills the beans that Vegeta's off training with Whis, so Goku yeets himself through the wall and breaks it, and begs Bulma to tell him next time that Whis comes to Earth to tell him. So then Whis does return to Earth without Vegeta. And Goku spends the whole time bothering him about it. But eventually, Whis allows Goku to go with him back to Beerus's planet, which is where Vegeta is. So Goku gets to experience what Beerus's planet is like for the very first time. And along with their training, they also pretty much have to be Beerus's housekeepers when he's asleep, which is actually quite funny. Some good comedy to begin this arc before we even get into the main stuff. Whereas they have to change his bed while he's asleep, so Goku has to lift Beerus up with his legs, have Vegeta put down new bedding, and then Goku has to lightly put Beerus back on his bed. Meanwhile, back on Earth, Sorbet, one of the generals of the Frieza army, despite Frieza's being dead for quite a while, has the Pilaf gang help him gather the Dragon Balls, and because Dende is the overseer is now the guardian of Earth instead of Kami, Shenron gives you 2 wishes instead of 1. So the first wish is Sorbet asks Shenron to bring Frieza back to life, even though he's in many different parts because of what future Trunks did to him when he came back to Earth as Mecha Frieza all that time ago. Frieza still looks like that now. And the second wish is for 100 million Zenny from the Pilaf gang. So Frieza is brought back to life, but he's in a bunch of tiny pieces. So Sorbet brings him back to his ship, puts him in this healing pod, which allows Frieza to be put back together to look like he did when we first saw him all that time ago at the very start of the Frieza saga in DBZ. So then Frieza asks Sorbet what happened, and Sorbet tells him that Goku has defeated Majin Buu. And Frieza is a little surprised by that, because the 2 people that Frieza was told to never engage in battle with is Majin Buu and Beerus. So he finds it very strange that Goku was able to beat Majin Buu. Then he makes Tagoma his plaything and does relentless training for 4 months, just like he did in the movie. But the difference here is, in the movie, after Frieza was finished with his training, he killed Tagoma by blasting him out of his ship. Whereas in the arc, that doesn't happen. He doesn't kill Tagoma this early. So Frieza is moving closer to Earth in his ship, Goku and Vegeta are sparring with Whis. No, they're not. That's not yet. They're sparring against each other. Goku and Vegeta are sparring against each other. And just like in the Battle of Gods arc, how I told you Goku and Beerus' fists collided like that, Goku and Vegeta's fists also collide just like that. And a surge of blue aura goes through both of them, to where they have finally unlocked the power beyond a Super Saiyan God, which was originally called Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan. But because that name is way too stupid, they decided it was renamed Super Saiyan Blue, which is much easier. And doesn't sound as stupid either. So Frieza's ship arrives on Earth, and everyone who has fought him before feels a disturbing energy coming towards them, and they all move on to the same place. And this is where we meet Jacko, the Galactic Patrolman, who is regularly known for knowing Bulma's sister, Tights. He essentially draws a picture of Frieza, which doesn't look very good, but everyone can get the idea of who it is, the fact that it's Frieza. So Frieza arrives on Earth with all of his minions, and he has Sorbet and Tagoma as his right hand men, since, well, there ain't no Ginyu Force anymore, or Zarbon and Dodoria, is there? Well, there's almost no Ginyu Force. When Gohan, Piccolo, Master Roshi, Tien, and Krillin all arrive at the spot that Frieza lands at, Frieza sends his minions out to fight. So we have the brawl where Krillin, Roshi, Jacko, Piccolo, and Tien all start completely destroying Frieza's minions. Only in the movie, you see that Jacko spins around and kills 10 Frieza soldiers with his blaster. In the arc, he only kills 1, so they actually made Jacko look even worse in the arc than they did in the movie. That's not very convincing, is it? You're not doing a very good job of convincing us that Jacko is actually an interesting character, when in the arc, you're making him even worse. So then, one of the stronger Frieza minions comes in and fights Piccolo. And it doesn't go well. Piccolo takes him down, but Gohan gets a really good punch in the stomach by Frieza, and then Frieza shoots a blast at Gohan, and Piccolo, for some stupid reason, sacrifices himself and dies. Yep, never happened in the movie, but for some reason in the arc, they decided, oh, let's have Frieza kill Piccolo for no apparent reason, except to try and claw back at a bit of nostalgia for when Piccolo jumped in front of Gohan in the Saiyan saga against Nappa, which saved Gohan, but then had Piccolo killed. So that happens. Bit stupid, why would you do that? There is literally no need for Piccolo to be killed. But believe it or not, guess who appears? Guess who appears? Captain Ginyu as a frog. Remember when Ginyu and that frog changed bodies on planet Namek? Yeah. Well, you know when Dende wished for every single person, apart from Goku and Frieza, to be wished from Namek to Earth? Ginyu was a frog, was also wished to Earth. So when everyone in the Earth was revived after Kid Buu destroyed it, Captain Ginyu came back to life as well. So he writes the words "change now" in the ground in front of Tagoma and Tagoma stupidly says "change now." So him and Ginyu switch bodies. Because it doesn't matter what body Captain Ginyu is in, the body change is his move. So it doesn't matter what body he's in, he can use his ability no matter what body he's in. So Captain Ginyu and Tagoma switch bodies. So now Tagoma has gone from being killed off in the movie by Frieza to becoming a frog in the arc, and now Captain Ginyu is inside of Tagoma's body. And for some stupid reason, who arrives there? Dan da da da. Gotenks. Goten and Trunks decide to join the fight. They fuse into Gotenks, and they headbutt Captain Ginyu inside of Tagoma's body's dick, and then that's kind of it. Then they pretty much instantly unfuse straight after that. So after that's happened, they unfuse, and Frieza looks at Kid Trunks and thinks, you look familiar. Because Kid Trunks grows up to become Future Trunks, who killed Frieza in the past. But then Goten and Trunks hightail it out of there, because there's no way they're strong enough to take on to take Frieza on. But Goku and Vegeta are too far away from the Earth to be able to pick up and to be able to instant transmission to where Frieza is. So Goku is thinking that Goku and Vegeta are thinking, well, how are we going to get there? So Gohan puts it upon himself to power up as much as he possibly can. He's lost his mystic form from Z in the Buu Saga, where he had the power of like a Super Saiyan 2 without even having to go Super Saiyan. Gohan has lost that ability, so going Super Saiyan 2 is as high as he can go in power now. So he powers up as much as he possibly can. And he powers up just barely enough where Goku instant transmissions himself, Vegeta, and Beerus and Whis come along for the ride back to Earth, as Frieza shot a blast at Gohan that Goku deflects very easily. And to round off the fact that in Dragon Ball Z, every single member of the Ginyu Force, except for Ginyu, was killed by Vegeta. Goku beat them, but Vegeta killed them. So they keep that trend going as Vegeta kills Captain Ginyu in Tagoma's body in one hit. Meaning, Tagoma is still alive, but he's a frog, and his actual body is dead along with Ginyu. So now Captain Ginyu has finally been killed. He actually survived longer than Frieza did in terms of when they first died. Frieza died at the very beginning of the Android Saga. Ginyu didn't die until Super. So then, finally, the real fight begins. Frieza goes from his first form straight into his final form. No messing about, no second or third form like in DBZ, none of that, straight to final form. But not 100% form, because the increase in mass equals a decrease in speed, which a decrease in speed means you're less likely to hit your opponent because you're not fast enough to beat them. So Goku is told by Frieza, why don't you turn Super Saiyan? Why don't you use that Super Saiyan form I hate so much? And Goku says, to be honest, Frieza, I don't think I need to just yet, because Goku has been training even since Frieza was killed. And Frieza was then training for 4 months straight, and then came straight to Earth. So Goku and Frieza begin their battle. and it goes pretty good in Goku's favour. The fight begins with Goku getting the one-up on Frieza in their battle. But Frieza's a little bit tired of fighting in forms they've fought in before. So Frieza puts it upon himself to transform into his brand new form, the Golden form, and he becomes Golden Frieza. He simply calls it Golden Frieza because it's the same colour as the Super Saiyan. So Frieza has his newest form, which has godlike ki and power. So Frieza raises Goku a golden form, and Goku matches him with Super Saiyan Blue. For the very first time in Super, we of course had already seen this in the movie, so we knew it was coming. Super Saiyan Blue. So the two of them start going at it again, but this time Frieza has a slight advantage now after transforming into his golden form. He's getting a few good hits in on Goku, but unfortunately, just like in the Battle of Gods arc, some pretty poo-poo animation claws its way back in, as we have some of the worst animated scenes in all of Dragon Ball, again, with the Goku Frieza fight. Goku is of course not again biting Frieza's tail again, just like he wasn't in the Frieza saga. That doesn't change. And really, the fight, Goku starts evening up the fight, only to knock Frieza down to where Goku almost gets killed, exactly the same way he did in the movie. Sorbet was hiding from everyone else, and on his middle finger he has a ring that's sort of like a blaster, and he shoots it at Goku, and it hits him right here or here, I can't remember which side. I don't know, it was here. He shoots Goku here, and Goku falls to the ground and is almost dead. It wasn't really a good thing. No one really liked that in the movie, and that didn't change in the arc. The fact that Goku had god-like power and a simple laser blast, a simple tiny little laser blast, almost killed him that easily because he didn't even know Sorbet was there. So Krillin gives Goku a senzu bean and carries him back to where everyone else is. So it's now time for Vegeta to take on Frieza. Vegeta, of course, transforms into Super Saiyan Blue as well, since he just skipped Super Saiyan God until the Broly movie, where we finally saw Super Saiyan God Vegeta. And this is the part of the Frieza, the Resurrection F saga that, actually shines. Because in the movie, Vegeta really did not get that much time, to just beat down on Frieza. But in this arc, they do him justice. They do him much more justice by letting him just go to town on Frieza, absolutely destroying him. Vigorously just taking him down, hit after hit after hit. And Vegeta beats Frieza down so badly that Frieza actually deforms from his golden form to hit back to his final form. And Goku and Vegeta both tell him that the reason why he's losing is because as soon as he achieved the golden form, he straight away, before training himself to work with that body and how much power he has in that body, working around how to use it effectively, he never did that. He just went straight to Earth without ever training in his golden form body. And that was his downfall. If he'd have actually... But if you think about it, if Frieza trained for as long, for the same amount of time as Goku has, since he started training back at the very beginning of the Dragon Ball series in 1986, the very, very beginning of the whole franchise, think then and then to the end, to up to the Resurrection F arc, if Frieza trained for the exact same amount of time, Frieza would be almost unbeatable. Frieza would actually be stronger than Beerus and Whis if he trained for that much amount of time. Because for some reason, Frieza's race, when they train, their power exceeds at a much higher rate than anyone else if they train. But just like in the movie, Frieza ain't having it, so he punches the Earth so hard that he blows it up. Just like in the movie, everyone around where Beerus and Whis are, so Goku, Krillin, Gohan, Tien, Roshi, Bulma, who gets a few insults thrown at her by Frieza, where Frieza calls her ugly. That's pretty funny. Because Frieza and Bulma never saw each other, did they? Despite they were both on Namek, right? Despite Bulma was actually on Namek even longer than Frieza was. In DBZ, they never saw each other. So that was Bulma's first ever time seeing Frieza. But yeah, Frieza blows up the Earth and kills Vegeta along with it. So Whis tells everyone that he can rewind time by 3 minutes. So he rewinds the time, but everyone who survived the explosion of Earth, because Whis put a protective cube around everyone, everyone remembers what just happened. Everyone remembers that Frieza just blew up the Earth. So they rewind 3 minutes to where Vegeta is like this, ready to kill Frieza. But this time, Goku jumps up and fires a Kamehameha straight at Frieza. Frieza's got nowhere to go, no way to block, nowhere to go to. It's over. Goku has taken Frieza down. And that sends Frieza straight back to Hell, which ironically is a very peaceful looking place, to us at least, where he gets put. Because it showed him at the start of the arc, he'd been stuck in a cocoon pretty much all the time. With all these fairies around him, and he hated it. Because in Dragon Ball, when a person goes to hell, their idea of hell is where they go. That doesn't really look like hell to the rest of us, but that's what hell feels like to Frieza, which is why that's the hell he's in. So Frieza returns to his cocoon in Hell. Piccolo is revived with the Dragon Balls without even being shown. They don't even show Piccolo getting revived with the Dragon Balls. He's just been revived. They don't even talk about it. They act like he didn't even die. Very stupid thing, in my opinion, though. Killing off Piccolo in the arc made no sense when you were just going to revive him again, and then you didn't even show that, which literally points out how pointless it was to kill Piccolo in that arc. But then Kid Trunks says, if Frieza comes back, I'ma slice his head off. Which of course makes everyone else laugh, apart from Goten, obviously, because Goten doesn't get it. But makes everyone else laugh. Because, you know, that's what Trunks actually did to Frieza. He sliced him up into tiny pieces and killed him. That's the thing that's ironic about it. Kid Trunks doesn't know about what future Trunks did to Frieza. He doesn't know he doesn't even know that happened. So everyone finds it funny, and that is where the arc concludes. Frieza has been taken down yet again, and the Earth is saved once more. So, what did I like about this arc? Well, the training episodes of Goku and Vegeta before Frieza made it to Earth, they were pretty good episodes. They were all funny, and it showed some nice comedy in between fighting Beerus and fighting Frieza. Then, I enjoyed the fact that all the more supporting cast characters like Krillin, Piccolo, Tien, Master Roshi all got to wail on some Frieza soldiers, giving them the spotlight for once, for a little bit. I'm not entirely sure about Captain Ginyu and Tagoma. I don't know if I do like that or don't like that. I guess it was interesting to see Captain Ginyu again after so long. But then Vegeta kills him, so he was only there he only came back to Super to be killed off. What did I not like? Oh god, the animation. That's definitely... The animation, again, pretty bad. The fact that Piccolo is killed off for pretty much no reason, except to try and claw at some nostalgia, as I said earlier, when he sacrificed himself against Nappa to save Gohan in the Saiyan saga. That was a long time ago. I don't think the nostalgia is going to work because of how long ago that happened to when this happened. And the last thing I do like is the fact that Vegeta was given a better showcase when he fought Frieza than he was in the movie. But in all, the movie is still better, just like Battle of Gods is still better than the arc. So that concludes the 2 opening arcs of Dragon Ball Super, the movie retellings in arc form. My final rating for Dragon Ball Super Resurrection F arc is a 5 out of 10. 0.5 better than the Battle of Gods arc. That is going to be it for this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed. Please be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, follow me on all my social medias, and join me back here again next week, where I will be covering Dragon Ball Super Universe 6 arc. But until then, catch you later.